At no point did someone say that when you started your law firm, you were going to be making more money. So in many cases, when I see entrepreneurs leave to start their own, their own business, it's because they're after some sort of freedom and the ability to decide how they're going to spend their time, what they're going to work on, what decisions they're going to make, freedom that perhaps they don't have when they're working for somebody else, right, under another leader. So you have that freedom. Chances are your colleague doesn't. But if you were just after, hey, how do I make more money? Well, maybe you're not there yet, right? That doesn't mean you can't. You can get there, absolutely. But you have to also understand the context of, like, there's certain freedoms that you have that your colleague may not. So as a firm owner, I mean, you get to decide who you hire, who you fire, the cases that you take on, like the campaigns and marketing you're going to do. I mean, every decision really is your decision. You don't have to ask anyone for permission. So that you can decide what time you're going to roll into the office. You can decide what time you wake up in the morning. Now, that doesn't mean that you can not show up at all and then, wake up at, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, you can decide to do that. You may also go out of business, but you have that freedom to be able to do that because now it's your own shingle, your own firm, and you own it. So you can make all those decisions around that. So can you be jealous that someone, somewhere else doesn't have to have the headaches that you do and the challenge that you do? I mean, I don't know if jealousy is the word. It's just reality, perhaps. But the price you pay for the freedom that you have are now the headaches that you have as a result today of having to solve very challenging problems, of figuring out how are we going to grow this firm, how are we going to hire people, how are we going to have the right culture, how are we going to build up our operation, how are we going to make sure we can attract the right types of cases that we want, how do we make sure everyone does their jobs correctly. I mean, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. I mean, you got to be somewhat psychotic to even want to do this, to take this amount of risk and then to deal with all the headaches and challenges. I mean, I think entrepreneurs are the only people crazy enough to leave a 9 to 5, working 40 hours a week, to go work 100 hours a week for themselves and make less money. I mean, it's just insanity when you think about it, and then take all this risk. But, I think that's a great opportunity to determine, is this for you? Because as challenging as it is, and with all the different, the different barriers you now have, the different problems you have to solve, would you want it any other way? Because you do have the option of shutting down your operation and then working under somebody else, right? And then not having to worry about any of these headaches. But I would ask you to perhaps revisit why you left in the first place to hang your own shingle. And perhaps that was a forcing function, that you wanted to pursue your own freedom and to bet on yourself. Well, now you're betting on yourself, and now you got to figure it out. But at the end of the day, the grass always seems greener somewhere else. And in truth, the grass is only greener where you water it. So if you are committed to this path of entrepreneurship, well, now you've got a lot of problems to solve, but I promise you, I promise you, it is worth it. When you figure this shit out, it is it is amazing.